Hello, and welcome to 12-Minute Meditation, a weekly podcast from Mindful and mindful.org that offers mindfulness meditations backed by neuroscience. Research shows that just 12 minutes of meditation a day can yield benefits like increased attention, focus, creativity, calm, resilience, and compassion. So on this podcast, we invite you to explore 12-minute guided meditations from today's leading mindfulness experts. I'm Siri Myram, contributing editor at Mindful and mindful.org. The nature of the mind is to make thoughts. All day long, mostly without our even noticing, the mind is generating thousands and thousands of thoughts. People often misunderstand mindfulness and meditation as ways to control or even stop our minds churning, but that isn't even really possible. With mindful attention, we can learn to notice and be aware of what our minds are up to, and that awareness is what gives us agency and opens new doorways to interior peace. In this meditation, teacher Vinny Ferraro guides us through a practice to see thoughts clearly as they arise, gently note them, and then return to the breath and body. Vinny Ferraro has been a practitioner of insight meditation since the early 1990s. He is a co-founder of the Dharma Punx and co-guiding teacher of Against the Stream Buddhist Meditation Society. He is also a nationally recognized leader in designing and implementing interventions for at-risk adolescents and is currently senior trainer for mindful schools. Ready to practice? Here's Vinny Ferraro.
Today we will place our attention on the nature of mind and its gross national product, thoughts. What is this phenomena we refer to as thought? What is our relationship to it? Not only does the mind have a mind of its own, but literally we can have thoughts about not having thoughts. All of this completely independent of our own doing. So it's very easy to villainize thought as some kind of enemy of practice. We get in our heads that if there were no thoughts, we would be at peace. But even that's just another thought. So we'll be using a noting practice. We practice seeing clearly thoughts arise, gently noting them, and returning to the breath and body. If there's no mindfulness of mind, we live in a world completely defined by our thoughts. So here we let go of that orientation and just see things as they are. We still hear the internal talk, we still see the images, but we know them as phenomenon. We see their impermanence. And if we look, we will clearly see that we've been under the influence of some very debilitating tendencies. We may see how often our thoughts include judgment or fear, grasping, or just arguing our point of view. When we see how compulsively these thoughts repeat themselves, we begin to understand the circular, repetitive nature of thought. So this training in awareness is a training in wisdom. Okay. Maybe enough talking about the food. Let's eat. So let's experiment for a session and see what happens when we put our attention on the sense door of the mind. Not just to see what comes to the door, but also how we greet it. We can't stop thoughts from arising, but we can stop getting lost in them. here we can see our views, our thoughts, our worries as only one part of a much larger story. So as we begin this session, feeling your body, allowing yourself to arrive. This is the practice of kind awareness. Allowing the breathing to be natural, easy. And see if there's a sense of relief that you don't have to make anything happen or stop happening. And just simply observe when thoughts arise and gently note planning, or judging. We're not noting things so that we can change them. We're just turning toward this phenomenon and noticing. Thoughts that usually fly under the radar, just like a light little whisper. We don't usually feel their impact. Most of the time, we're not even aware that they're there. And the next thing you know, we're carried off. So we don't want to be lost in the dream of our own mental activity. We don't have to control thought or quiet them down. We just want to be aware of them as they arise. Because any moment we're aware of them, we're not lost in them. You can think about it like we're sitting in a movie theater and there's images and voices projected on the screen of the mind. But we're here witnessing this phenomenon instead of being seduced by it. This frees up a lot of our awareness if we don't have to chase every thought, to see the well-worn patterns of the mind. And we begin to recognize some of the themes that we're working with. Noting thought without indulging or empowering or needing to suppress or avoid them. Whatever arises is known and allowed to pass through. These thought bubbles are touched lightly. The content completely irrelevant. Just another object. Here we are, resting in the body, aware of sensation, watching thoughts come and go, and yet we remain. As things pass through, the mind can be open and empty. This is a being, not a doing, so we don't have any need to search for something to note. But as thoughts are known, gently noting them. Lightly touching thoughts, not lost in content, not trying to figure it out, but resting in the witnessing of what is naturally unfolding. We continually surrender the ground beneath our feet until the awareness itself tastes less and less like me. At any point, we can take refuge in the body, this breathing. We don't have to be tight about it. But keep noticing. Not by bearing down on it or drilling into it, but resting in our intuitive knowing. By opening up the field of attention to include this domain. Thoughts are so prevalent. They are a worthy anchor for our meditation.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of 12-Minute Meditation from Mindful and mindful.org. I hope you enjoyed practicing with us today. Sign up for our free newsletter at mindful.org/signup And if you'd like to explore additional related content and meditations, check the show notes for links.